Able the waiting room. Okay, so Vienna, you're gonna have to watch for the Zoom bombers. Okay, okay. So David, why don't you go ahead and just kind of introduce the topic and talk about some of the challenges that you're having, and then we'll begin the dialogue.
Okay, well, my name's Dave Madwood. I've been a resident here since 1989, and I've dealt with the development center specifically since 2000, both as a homeowner and as a contractor. So a little bit of my background, I'm a physician, but I also build homes on the side. So
Nice.
I have my
Okay.
own company, and I deal with the department quite often. So, there's always been issues over the years, and everyone just seems to deal with it. But I think since COVID has begun, I think Palo Alto, being in the heart of Silicon Valley, has really fallen short with regards to the technological challenges that these departments face. And from inability to schedule inspections to inspection delays to the lack of video inspections that many other local cities have, inability to contact the planners who are dealing with your applications. I mean, I have examples 3 weeks pass before you can even get an answer from someone. And I'm just talking about, sometimes you just like an answer. Well, yeah, I'm looking at your application. You don't get any of that. It's just, it was frustrating enough when I built several homes for myself here. And now on the other side of the coin, being a contractor, it is equally as frustrating. And in these challenging financial times when the city is facing an enormous budget deficit and the development center is a place that is a revenue generator.
Yeah.
And, property tax revenues also that do trickle down to the city in some ways, and especially to the school system. There's just no excuse for it. I mean, that's all I can say. It's just very frustrating. It's just, for 2.5 months, you couldn't access the online inspection system, and there were two poor ladies trying to deal with all the inspections. It was just, I just think Palo Alto could have done a lot better.
Yeah. So I'll share some of my own experience. So I was the owner builder for my house, so I did it in addition to my house, and so my dad was a mechanic, so
Okay.
I'm pretty handy, and I I actually do a lot of stuff on my house. I have an old house. My house is like 100 years old, something.
Okay.
So it's always something breaking, right? It's like a weekend project every week. And I gotta tell you, I I have the same experience that you have, even as a council member with the development center. It's pretty. Yeah, I mean, so you look at like the experience you get on Amazon, right? Where they always ask you, so how is the service? Or
Yeah.
they're always trying to there's this really good feedback mechanism, right? And they kind of keep you abreast as to what's happening. Um, not the development center. Yeah, I mean it's a very, and it depends on who you talk to, because you talk to different people and they say different things. And
Exactly. But I think the main point is they're there to, I'm not saying serve us as if, they're peasants and we're the landowner. There's just no, it's like I'm the one who has to go in there and beg and to be cowering, and they're the ones with all the control. And listen, the actual individual inspectors they're tough, but they're very nice. I have no problem actually with most of the staff. They're very personable and such, but they are well paid. They have a lot of benefits. And I just don't see, as you say, the customer satisfaction. I guarantee you, if there was a kiosk in the development center in the lobby there when you walked in and you could give your immediate feedback, it would probably be a zero.
yeah, I've been pushing really hard. So I got elected in 2017, and I've been hearing, and not hearing, but experiencing and hearing nightmare stories about the development center. And so since I got elected, I've been pushing for this idea of a net promoter score, right? I'm not sure if you're
Yes.
familiar with the idea. So what it
Yes.
basically is you ask one question, which is how likely are you to refer this service to a colleague or friend?
Yes.
And it's standard in industry. So you go to Burger King, you go to McDonald's, you go to any store, anywhere there's customer service, there's like some sort of feedback mechanism, like call in, win a hamburger if you
Yeah.
if you answer the survey. And so I've been pushing super hard for it in the city. And okay, so the good news is the art center now does that. So now the art center now adopts now has it. So you take a class and you actually have a net promoter survey, right? Which is great.
Yes.
But the development center, unfortunately, not. And I think that would be huge, right? Because I think a lot of customer service is feedback, right? If there's no feedback mechanism, then I mean it's like I mean this is one reason why in general, like JD Powers does a customer satisfaction, like see who has the best customer satisfaction. And so what's happened over the past couple of decades is people have been implementing it. Like in the in the private sector, this has become standard. Like there's no
Yeah.
consumer facing company that doesn't have some sort of feedback mechanism. But in the city, except aside from the art center, it is the Wild West, right?
It's
And
just
so,
terrible. And this has
yeah,
been going on. Now George Hoyt has taken over. I've met him. He's a nice man, but all the problems that he inherited are still there. And I know they have a lot of turnover lately, but it's just not. Here, John. I'm sorry, Greg. It's
okay,
the car next to, right in the street, right in front of the house. Yeah. Sorry, a friend
no
broke
problem,
his car broke down.
no problem.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we can't solve it together, but if there's some, and I know they know there's issues and they've known there's issues for ever since I've dealt with them, but it
Yeah,
seems like it's just going with the challenges with COVID that who knows when this is going to end. I mean, as a physician, I'd say probably next fall at the earliest.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm not joking about that.
yeah, yeah,
It's another 15 months of this, and that's just to get to a bad baseline.
yeah.
So, I'm very passionate about this community. I mean, I'm active in Little League and all the coaching that I do. And, it's just, I'm really been here for 30 years. So I think 31 years. So, um, you know, I know I missed a meeting with you about closing streets down about 2 months ago. Unfortunately, I just forgot my
Yeah, no
appointment.
problem.
Um, that's another thing, speeding cars. And, I'm an avid biker. I don't drive in the city because it's no point with the
Yeah.
traffic.
Well, me too.
I bike everywhere,
Yeah, I'm an avid biker, but yeah, it's why I definitely appreciate safe. I mean, I'm an avid biker, and for me, like, I I bike rain or shine, doesn't matter to me. But
Yeah,
I think to me, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get other people who are maybe not as avid bikers to bike, and so one of the things is making sure they feel safe when they bike, and
yeah.
that's
Yeah, I
another
mean,
issue.
that's an issue with the street closures, and I think that's a fantastic idea if we can, I put into the police department, I stopped doing it, but it's a waste of time, about speeding cars and stuff all the time, but, and I know they're facing a huge budget deficit too.
Well, speaking about speeding cars, one of my daughter's classmates, my daughter's in middle school. One of her classmates got killed by a car, right?
Yeah, we
Bike.
know that, one of my boys, knew that boy, so, yeah,
He was 1 year below my daughter, so
yeah,
same middle school. I mean, just tragic, right? But anyways, back to the topic
yes,
about the parenting. So I think, yeah, I think some sort of feedback mechanism would be great, where every interaction, like to measure it, like I think like literally some places have a button. Like you go to some retail stores and they have a button like how was the customer service, right? Happy face, sad face, whatever,
we
or
have it at Kaiser,
yeah, or something online. Like,
yeah,
yeah, your hospital has it, right? So it's standard in the industry, except for the city, right? And so I've asked the city manager, and one reason why I wanted to do Facebook Live on this is because I've heard this from so many people, right? I mean, so many people about the customer service challenges, right? And it could be, and I think this is something which isn't terribly hard to do because there's a lot of tools out there that are already, you know,
yeah.
make it super easy. Um, but it just there's great reluctance to doing it, and um, I think the staff is here, and I agree with what you're saying, but we hire these people to serve the people that live here, and,
Exactly,
and so
yeah,
and so, I mean, it's like they are our vendor, right? They are, and so making sure that they get this kind of customer feedback to make sure that they know how to improve. Because there are some people that are truly excellent, and I've worked with a few of them, and
yeah,
there's some of them which I've talked to. I've heard stories of people who if they see that if they're going to be assigned to that person, they go out and get a haircut and come back or
That's
something, right?
true. I
It's
mean,
kind of funny.
I know people with PhDs in computer science that are trying to be an owner builder. They walk in there and they're basically humiliated by one of the engineers there, you know, basically because she doesn't know how to put in the proper, you know, submission package. I mean, it's just that's just unacceptable. I mean, you know, it's just.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
but
I mean, I just think there needs to be a lot more awareness, groundswell of support to try to make some changes. I mean, I think they're very entitled. The people there, the higher you go, they make really good salaries. I
three
mean,
hundred
for
thousand,
for
really good salaries.
yeah,
Yeah,
for a government worker, and
yeah.
with all the benefits that come with it, it's just there's just no excuse.
Well, I hope so this video is on Facebook Live. I hope you could like it and share it, and I'm hoping that more people will write in because I've been hammering on this issue even since I was on the planning commission. And it's there needs to be enough public outcry to kind of get other council members kind of on board because right now for most council members it's not the biggest fish to fry,
Yeah, of course.
but it's something which and to be honest, it's not just development center. People complain. I've heard a similar number of complaints about utilities, right? Where they say
Yeah.
so maybe
No,
not bad,
I've
but
had very good experiences with the utility guys, but you know, especially during emergencies, especially. But
yeah,
you know, as far as this climate of fiscal, you know, catastrophe almost, I
yeah,
think this is a place where we can, you know, every dollar counts, especially for the schools. I mean, you know, uh,
yeah,
if you can get your permit through and you get your house built and you're reassessed and your property taxes can, as you know, you can buy $1 million house and all of a sudden it's assessed at 3 million. That's a huge amount of, that's $24,000 of assessed property taxes. So the city gets some of that. Schools get some of that. So I just think it's just unacceptable and needs to change, you know. And I don't want, see, the problem is that you walk a tight line, you know, you become a troublemaker. And as a contractor, then you can become discriminated against. And, you know, it's like,
I've heard about that too, by the way. I've heard that sometimes some contractors are kind of like blackballed because they complain about
it's true. So you
yeah,
really got to, you know, I have an appointment with George Hoyt. He responded, I think, only because you probably reached out to him. And I'm a little leery of, I've talked to him in the past on other jobs, but this specific, you know, I mean, you don't want to be a rabble rouser and then, you know, the word goes out, yeah, screw this guy at every inspection and delay all this project.
yeah. No, I agree with you. There should not be any retaliation, and if there is, let me know because
Yeah,
that's absolutely not right.
yeah,
Um, but besides the kind of feedback mechanism, I think the other thing you talked about, which I really think is given we're Palo Alto, we're supposed to be very cutting edge, is the lack of technology, right? I mean,
it's
you would
just,
think
it's
everyone has
unbelievable.
this, right? So, like, what's up with that, right? Why, like, compared to other cities, do you do work in other cities or just here?
Yeah, Menlo Park, Los Altos, they have video inspections during this COVID, you know, so there's it's seamless. I mean,
Yeah,
it's actually faster than it was before. I mean, it's in Palo Alto. I mean, literally, there were times during early May when they reopened everything after the complete shutdown. You'd had to wait an hour and a half just to talk with the scheduler, and then it was another, you know, 2, 3 weeks out. But it took an hour and a half just to get a voice because the scheduling system was down, the
yeah,
online system.
yeah,
And this is Palo Alto with, you know, you name it, they started a company that could do these things, and you know, we can't do it.
yeah. You would think it'd be kind of a solved. There's an app for that already, right? You would think so, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
mean, you
No,
know, it's just I'm glad we can talk, and I can voice my concerns, and you know,
well, I just
hope.
I'm hoping that I mean this is like it has to do with government efficiencies. The city definitely has revenue challenges, and we have to reduce the amount of staffing as well,
Yeah.
and just using a little bit of technology can really be a multiplier and actually provide better service for less people,
Yeah,
right?
the video inspections, I mean, one person could do 2 to 3 times the number of inspections because you don't need to drive anywhere. I mean, it
Yeah,
just would be fantastic. I mean,
yeah, yeah. And here's the other thing: it's like so the city's done like we're doing Zoom meetings, right? Because we
yeah.
don't have really in-person meetings anymore. And like so I do this every Sunday, right? So Vienna and others have helped me out, right? So for me and one volunteer every Sunday I kind of do my little Zoom thing, right?
Yes.
And so our city council meetings, we have like 5 people setting up the Zoom. It's like why do we need so many people to set up a Zoom meeting? I literally do like this is like literally what we're doing right here, right? And so why do we need to have five? Why do we have to need to have 5 people doing this, right? But I mean, it just, and I think part of the challenge is that in the public sector, it's kind of like it's a monopoly. Like there's
Yeah,
only one development center, you have no choice. Like if there are 2 development centers, like you go to the one that you like better, right? But
exactly.
here there's no choice. So I think because of that, because there's no competition, I think because of that, um, I think the kind of feedback mechanism we talked about is even more important
Yeah,
because of the fact that it's a monopoly, right?
yes,
And people don't have a choice as to going to a different development center.
you got it. Yeah.
So what are some other best practices that you think might be good for us to adopt that you saw in other cities?
Well, the video inspections is number one. The online inspection system, which they finally got back up after 90 days, is,
Mm,
they have that. Um, the, the particular way in which the applications need to be submitted online is just atrocious. I mean, I tell you, I mean, I'm talking about PhD computer science people from Stanford who are struggling to manage the correct submission package for the city. It's not done the right way. And if it is submitted and it's not done the right way, you might take 4 to 5 weeks for them to tell you it was submitted wrong. And then
yeah.
you have to start again.
Well,
It's just,
I found out it also depends on who you talk to, right? So you talk to one person, they say one thing. If you
yeah,
happen to get the wrong person, the other person has a different perspective. So it's not really uniform, unfortunately.
yeah. And then I think there's 5 planners. There's one who has one of my projects. I have not been able to get a hold of them in 5 weeks. It's just, it's just no accountability. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
So these are the things that really need to change. Plus, when it reopens and there's like the actual man that, the staffer at the front desk is the greatest guy in the world, but that's the last time you usually see someone smiling and being joyful.
Yeah. The city has had a like because they've heard this issue before. They actually formed the committee to see how they could try to improve the development center. This was a few years ago,
Yeah.
and one of my neighbors was on that, and I think they try to do some things to make it a little bit more streamlined. But I think there's still ways to go.
Yeah. I think it's, you're aware now. I think you've experienced it yourself, so you know what needs to be done. And I think that feedback, if their feedback is consistently poor, obviously the city council would say, look, your ratings are so poor, this needs to change.
Well,
Bring someone in who can make the changes.
yeah, because I know like the art center they've done it, and so I really gotta commend the staff in that department for doing this, and it helped them figure out what courses are good, which courses they need to kind of fix,
The
and
art
they
center
want.
is an amazing place. That my boys have had great. My God, I can't wait to have time to go there and do some stuff. That place is fantastic.
Yeah,
The
so
people are very helpful there.
I've been advocating for like this kind of net promoter score to go up throughout the whole city, right? Anywhere anything that faces the residents, right?
Yeah,
Um, so that um, so that there could be kind of like a customer service culture
yeah.
in the city versus
There's
like
not a workplace that I know of that doesn't have that, right?
yeah,
So
it's for modern businesses, it's standard.
yeah,
And I've done things. I know like other government agencies have done this too, but
yes,
the city has been a little bit slow, and I'm hoping that more people will write in and talk about this. And so I would
yeah,
say, as you do business, as you talk to your clients or other contractors, have them, share this video with them, have them write in,
yeah. I agree.
have them write in, and maybe with enough outcry, there could be some change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Greg.
Hey, thank you so much for taking time out of your weekend,
Okay.
and let me know how it goes. Okay.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay. Thanks. Okay. Bye.